Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm T with Teresa H Creates, and I stopped in the middle of some chaotic creating to show you what I'm working on because I thought they were too cute. It's nothing original or anything. I just thought they were too cute, and I'm just working on a lot of variations, and I wanted to share what I'm doing here. So for Mother's Day, I received from my lovely family this mixed media birds ephemera set from Sweet Pea Curiosities. They are too cute. Look at these. They are too cute. And I have just torn this book apart already, pulling out all these little birds. I actually spent some time fussy cutting. Look at these. I did. I spent some time fussy cutting, which is just not my favorite thing in the world to do. So anyway, I did fussy cut those. But I also got this set of chiffon ribbon from them, and I know that when I put these in my wish list, I did not intend for them to go together, but when I got both of them at the same time, I was like, you know what, these colors, they look great together. I need to make something. And so I started making these little journals, and I guess they're kind of flip-flop journals. It's a single piece of 12 by 12 cardstock, and I know that the flip-flop journals that I traditionally see are made with envelopes, and this is not. So I don't know. It's not really accordion unless it's a super short accordion. So it's kind of just an enfold. That's what I'm going to call it. It's my enfold journal. So anyhow, this is what I've been doing. So 12 by 12 paper, and I've been making these all a little bit different. But let me flip through this so you can kind of see this is a pocket. I haven't done any of the created any of the little embellishments that will go inside the little pockets, and this is a belly band and tuck spots, but I need to get on that, and that opens up for some writing, and this is a pocket here, and then it's a pocket. So that's kind of where I've stopped, and then back to front is, making all the little tags and cards and things that go in them. I've just kind of been getting the bases of these down and then folding them or tying them up. Look at the little closures with this ribbon. It's too cute. So that was one of them. This was the first one that I did. This little clip is on here, and this comes off. And then there's a pocket in here, and then this is just a little flip book in here for writing or whatever, and I did it with the like a little tab binding, and I love this doily. I think I got this from Inky Fingers Society. It's precious. Put that back on. I did not put this back on. Let me do that so this stays closed. Yep, there we go. All right, and I didn't do anything here. I left it open so it can just be writing space. This is a tuck here. This is some tea-dyed tissue paper. I've got all the little papers. It's a combination of, this is the piano player paper. This is a tuck here, and then flip over. And on this side, oh, I've got the little writing space on here, and there's a little bird, there's a little pocket, belly band, and then more writing space, and then pocket and pocket, 2 pockets. So that was it. That was the first one I did, and then I just became addicted to this. And I'm actually using up some of that. I'm using up the papers that I used. I pulled out a kit to make my Mother's Day card. And I don't know if any of you saw that card video, but I pulled out this kit, and so that's what I've been using. I used the papers from that, so I hardly have any papers left from that collection now because I've been using them to make these papers. So I'm using my stash, so that's great. That's great. I'm always excited to use things from my stash. So here we go. And then there's this one. This little guy flips open. And then there's a pocket. Signature little pockets here. This little bag. Oh, I've got to... You know what? I cut the side of this. I need to glue it back because I cut the side of it, and then I decided I wanted something for the top. So then I did the peeking shears across top, and I need to glue this. Let me go ahead and do that since we've got it open, because otherwise I will forget. I'm just the worst about that. All right. that is done. Okay, keep going through here. And then this is just a little pocket down here. And this comes off. Okay, this is a whole little book. And I just did the 3-hole pamphlet stitch for that. And then this is a little tuck spot, but I use this, see it's completely separate here. So I used it to just kind of fold over on this side. And then that's just a cluster there, just a cluster embellishment. So let me put this back on. But you can see where I've used all my little birds. They're so cute. So, oh, this is a tuck here. And then my back to, yep, okay. And back to front. So let me tie this up. All right, and then I just wanted to go through and share with you how I'm creating these. It's probably pretty self-explanatory, but I've done all of them just a little bit different, and it's been fun playing, and they come together very, very quickly, very quickly. So let me set those aside. And then I've got a piece of paper from that collection. So it's just a 12 by 12 sheet. And you need to just decide, I guess, which side you're going to do it on, because you're going to cut it down to 8 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this down to 8 inches, and then we'll do the scoring. And sometimes I've had images up here that were great, and I've had images down here in this corner. So I've always taken a look at it and decided which is going to be the best, the most complimentary for the front sides of my journal. And so I want to keep this flower cluster here. So I'm going to trim the top. All right, I've got that trimmed down to 8 inches. So it's 8 by 12 right now. And then I am going to score at the 4-inch mark. And then I'm going to score again at the 8-inch mark. Super easy. Easy breezy. And then that's it. And then you could fold it if you wanted to. So let's see. I am going to, and I've been matching them up. I haven't been like using the score lines exactly, just because sometimes I don't get it quite right. They don't line up and they're a little bit off. So I've been kind of trying to match them up to the edges so that they're nice and straight. All right, and there we go. So then you decide if you want to do, so this is what it's going to look like. All right, and then because I'm adding signatures, and this is just a regular piece of 12 by 12 cardstock, I've been adding washi to kind of help reinforce the edges. So I just picked out an assortment of washi. Some that are, you know, pretty neutral, that aren't going to like just stand out drastically. This has been kind of my go-to right here, but I've used this one quite a bit. I think I'm going to use this one here. So I've been reinforcing those folds by pulling off some of this washi. So it's a great way to use up some of your washi if you've got a lot of washi in your stash as well. Let me take my Yoo-hoo stick. I don't trust the washi adhesive. It's usually pretty weak. I don't trust it to really hold down all that well. So I'm going to add some extra adhesive, and then I'm going to put it right here in the center, right over that score line. And then I would do the second side here. I'm not going to do it now, but that's how it would do. And then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to do the other side as well. And just be sure that if it's directional washi, that you're adhering it in the right direction. I was constantly having to flip mine over and make sure, yes, this is, fortunately these flowers aren't directional, so it's not going to matter, but some of my washi tape was directional or had writing on it, and I wanted to make sure it wasn't upside down. Okay, so I put those on, and then I've been trimming off the excess. Oh, it's part of the paper. Thought it was something I got on it. Okay, and then let's put it down. Let's give it a good burnish. Good burnish while it's flat, and then we'll bend it. There we go. And it will stay down. Looks good. There we go. All right. I'm going to set this one aside and I'll finish that up later. And I'm going to pull out one that I'm actually working on. I've kind of been working on them at 2 at a time, but I'm going to work on one with you guys. So this one, I was kind of just collecting pieces as I was going, like cutting pieces down and trying to decide how I was going to match them up. So I like this teal flower with this. So I kind of matched that up. And then the one that I am working on with this one is this guy. So we're going to work on this one, but this was the other one that I've kind of got going here. And this little writing spot, I was just putting it over here. No. Oh, because it's attached to that side. So there. So that way it just kind of folds over, and then I would put either a paper clip or one of the bulldog clips to kind of hold it. And I liked this tag in particular, or this label that I could put in there. So I'm going to keep all of that together and set that aside. Okay, so this is the one that we are going to work on. And I've created a lot of my embellishments that are going to go on the inside of it. Some of the embellishments I want to go ahead and put down before I sew the signatures in. So let's kind of work through that. I think I was going to do this here. Yes, and I want to add this little bird peeking in right here, and then I'm going to put this little tuck spot here. Yes, okay, so let's go ahead and work on that. So let me set these elements aside. All right, let me go ahead and pull out my walnut stain. I'm going to ink this guy up a little bit before I put him down, just to get rid of any white that may be showing. I think I'm just going to use the top part of him, so I don't need to ink up the whole thing. All right. I want him just kind of peeking in here. I think that is correct. Put that needle back and trim this guy up. All right, isn't that cute? Now I'm going to go and ink up these edges. All right, and then I wanted to put this tuck here. And honestly, I can attach that now, but I do want to decorate it up a little bit. And I've got some little scrap bits here. And so I kind of wanted to put a little something on it. So let's see. Ink up all these little guys. And I pulled these, a lot of these, like the music sheets and some of these little scrap pieces that I'm using to make clusters and things with, I pulled from my little scrap bag. So anytime I have very neutral papers or hand dyed papers and stuff, like these right here, this was part of some mixed media stuff I was doing, and then this was part of some of the dyed paper that I do. I take those scraps and I put them in one of these little guys, and I just pull from these. Some of them are very large scraps, some of them are very small scraps, but I pull from these to be able to work into other projects, and the colors work out perfectly. Absolutely love that. It's great for making clusters and adding little bits of trim and whatnot. Okay, now let's see if I can figure out a way to assemble this that I might like. I'm just going in and committing. I could have laid it down and played with it a little bit, I guess, but nah, what's the fun in that? Maybe I will with a few of these. Okay, so I'm going to put maybe this guy out here so that shows. And then I've got this guy. Yeah. Don't want a lot of that green covered up. Maybe, yeah. Look, okay, that came together very quickly. All right, that looks good. We'll go with it. I think I just need to glue down these little edges here. And then this little guy. Right there. I feel like it needs something else. I've got little bits of ephemera here. I think these are all pictures of flowers. Yeah, flowers in clusters. I mean, I guess I could. There's nothing that says I couldn't. Not really what I'm looking for. Got some ephemera bits, something I might be. I've been using these guys to create my labels because they have these great little labels on there, so I've been trimming them. Oh, how cute. I could do this. Let's see. Some tiny, oh, look. Okay, I've got this little vellum feather. That's it. This is really thick. It's a really thick little feather. I'm going to put it right down there. There we go. Okay, that's cute. I'm done. And then I can always go in and add more later if I wanted. So I'm just going to glue down this side. And then I don't want to cover up his head, but I also want to leave enough room to actually tuck something in there. And I don't want it to get it too close to the score line in the center because that's where I'm going to be putting my signature. Sorry, I think I was a bit out of frame. Let me move back into frame. Okay. Make sure everything is glued down. All right, and then I was going to add this guy next. So let's do this. I'm going to put it just above this writing. And then I want to add a little something. I've got these. Maybe I can find a pretty stamp in there to make some of that pop. Argentina, purple's not quite right. Just decorate it up a little bit. Put a little bit of color. Do we want to add a little bit of color, or is this blue enough color? We can do there. I like that. Looks like most of these stamps might be from Argentina. I picked this up at a huge like resale place. It's a Trade Days in Canton. There was a vendor there that just had tons of these in little envelopes, and he was selling them very inexpensively. So I picked up 2 of these little bags. And then I like this blue. Just give it some interest. Just a little something here. All right. I don't want to lose these, so let me put them right back in here. And I think I lost my needle. Always losing my needle. I need to get a little magnet. I saw someone had a little magnet like on the side of their glue bottle. And so they would just put the little needle, you know, on there, and so it stayed on the glue bottle. And that's what I need. Let's go ahead and move to the cover. That is not the right stuff. This is the correct stuff. Okay. So I do want to add this cute little bird right here. Oh, looks like I've already inked up the edges. Look at me. I was working on this one and getting everything ready, and that's why I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stop and assemble this with you guys. So if anyone's interested in making one of these little guys, you can see these little birds are so cute. I absolutely love them. Okay. And then thinking through logistically doing some tab binding. I've already got my tape for the tab binding. I'm using this, it's packing tape that I've used alcohol inks on. There's a cute little tutorial for that to make the vintage looking tape. So I've got a whole set of that, a whole roll of that, and I'm going to use that on this. Okay, this guy goes here. All right, so I have some embellishments for this, but I'm not going to add those until I get these on, and so that way they'll go over the tape. So now I have to go back and remember how to do my tab binding. All right, so this is my top. I'm going to put three bits there. Yes, yes. So it's going to look like this. One, and these might be too long. I left them long intentionally just until I got them down. So 1, 2, 3. And they are going to fold over on this. Let me get this lined up. Yes. Okay. And then I'm going to have 1 and 2 right in between. That's really close. Let me move it down just a little bit. Okay. Looks good. Let me go ahead and glue this, because again, I don't trust any of these tapes, so I am going to glue these down. So that they stick, and I hope I've done this right since I'm gluing it down and it's permanent now. Okay, but I'm actually going to do this with it. I've got a tutorial on the actual tab binding process if you wanted to watch that, because I'm not explaining a lot right here while I'm doing this, I know. But I do have a tutorial on the entire process. Well, then there's that. Tape's a little stronger than I thought. So let's make sure it goes right back where it was. We can put it right back down. There we go. Now I'm nervous. Okay, that one came up just fine. All right, let's make sure. Yes. So I'm going to line these back up. These are perfect. Okay. I think that I may trim these just a tad. It's these three that I'm going to fold over. Right? Yes. Okay. I'm going to trim these just a tad. And now I'm going to attach them here. Let me make sure I know exactly where I'm putting it. I think there. I think that is a good spot. I want to make sure that they are lined up. And then I'm going to glue these over. Okay. And if that worked the way I hoped, we should be able to flip these open just like that. There we go. Isn't that cute? That's so cute on there like that. Okay. Let me get rid of all this. And now I can add my little birdie here. That's awkward. Part of his tail is just going to have to come off because he's a little bit big, or she, or it is just a little bit big. Right there. Try to get as much of that tail on there as possible. We'll do a little bit of a trim. I hope that I've been in view this whole time. I get going and I've got my head down and I'm not looking at the screen. There we go. All right. And then on the inside, I was going to help reinforce this by gluing something over that. So I've got this guy, and I thought that this matched so well. So there was this little bit of green, and this has a lot of green. And then this, I found this that had some green. And so I used the cracked pistachio Distress Oxide to put some color down on this. And then I went around just the edges with the walnut stain so that it would all match up. I'm not sure how long this is, so we're just gonna, like everything else, I just eyeball it. But I was gonna cover up like this red line here. But then also, it's going to help hold down, you know, that tape. Not that it needs it, but you know, if you're working it quite a bit, it might eventually need just a little bit to help reinforce. All right, let's trim this off. I'm going to ink that top edge. And then some extras. So that's what we've got. Look how cute is that? I love it. Love it, love it. Okay, so now that we've got that down, now I can go to this side and then I'll reinforce this area. We've got all these lovely roses. And so I've got this strip here that I have cut, and this is going to be kind of just my little tuck spot. Ink up the edges of this so it can be seen a little bit better. All right, I'm just going to glue a thin line right down the edge of this. That's all I want because it's going to be a tuck spot. And I want to leave enough room between here and here for this little decorative piece. So I've got this piece. Let me ink up the edges of it. So I liked the kind of the graduated roses look. So roses, roses, and then roses, they get a little bit darker as they go out. So we've just got the outline and the brown there. And then we've got these nice little peachy, rosy roses, and then these darker roses. Let me go ahead. And I'm using all this trim. So this is actually the trim, the little trim bits from the paper collection. So that's nice. trying to use up every little bit. I'm going to trim. Trim. Make sure I've got enough glue down here. Looks like it's up a little bit. All right. It's coming together. And then this matches this guy, and I'm going to put this down here. It's a nice little pocket. Again, it might be a little bit too close to that edge. This one I might wait until I've actually stitched it in, and then I'll go back and put this. So let's go ahead and move on to signatures. I'm just going to do a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. I don't think that you need to necessarily see a lot of the full detail on that. I'm going to pull out the pages or the papers that I've pulled together that I'm using for signatures in this collection, and I'm going to speed up this whole process of selecting the signatures and then stitching them in. And I do trim them down as well. So let me speed up that process, and then we'll be back to continue decorating. All right, so now I've got my signatures in. Everything looks good. And this is where I'm going to go ahead and add this guy. And I didn't want to get it, you know, stitched in, so that's why I waited until after for this one. Because this one's cutting it pretty close to either side, to each side. All right. That's down. Let's come over, and here's our little tuck spot here. Looking good. I need to add a label up there. So let's see. My daughter left for the day, and her puppy is not having it. Do we like this one? Do we like a darker one maybe? I don't know. I kind of like this larger one. Anyway, my daughter left for the day and the puppy is not happy about it. I think I like this one. Let's go with this. So I apologize for all of the barking. Perfect. It looks great. All right, and now I've just got this side. So I am going to put this here. It's going to overlap these two pages here. So what do we think? Maybe a little birdie down here. Let's see what I've got. Here's some cute little birdies. This little guy. I'm going to ink him up and add him. I have this old warped magic mat here that I use. It's for, you know, embossing, but I use it as my little cutting mat so that I can get in here with my X-Acto blade. I'm going to cut this little bit out. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just want the majority of that white space out. There we go. See, we got it. There we go. Ink it up, all good. Put that away before I injure myself, because I am prone to injuring myself frequently. That looks good there. All right. Looking good, little guy. And then we're going to put this guy on here. And should we do a bird or should we do a label? Let's add a label. to this, right? Or we could put a label up there. I could bring it down a little bit and add a label up there. Let's add one up there. What are we looking at? I pulled that one before, and I kind of like it. So let's go with this large label. It's got green, so it really goes with all of these colors that I'm using here. Nice and green. Wheel. And this is a pull-off piece. See, so I don't really want to put it there. I think I'm going to put it there. Yep. Because not every inch of this needs to be covered. And I'm talking with that needle in my mouth, and that is a terrible, terrible, terrible habit. Okay. So not every inch of this needs to be covered, because if someone wants to, you know, glue something here or attach something there, then they can. And that's, you know, the new owner, wherever it finds its new home. Okay, I feel like I do need to add something to this. Let me tell you a story about that needle. And the reason why that's so scary is because I have a habit of pulling that needle out with my teeth and just kind of holding it there between my lips. And it is such a terrible, terrible habit. Well, one day I was gluing and I couldn't find the needle. I couldn't find it anywhere. And then I thought to myself, did I absent-mindedly like swallow this? And I was terrified for about, I don't know, 15 minutes. I looked everywhere, all over my desk. And then I went and pulled out a magnet and I was like dragging it around on my floor. And I was like, okay, I'm not feeling anything, but I may end up having to just go to the emergency room. Oh, look, these little guys. Just in case, because I don't know. And my stupid behind was going to go in there and say, hey, I may have swallowed a needle, but I don't know. And so anyway, long story short, I found it. And obviously I'm okay because I'm here talking to you now. But it was terrifying. And I still haven't learned my lesson, obviously, because I'm still apparently, you know, putting that needle in my mouth. But terrible, terrible habit. I do not recommend that anyone start doing that. It is the worst habit. All right. I even called my husband. I was like, you know, you don't hear from me a little bit, I may have swallowed a needle. He's just kind of like, what? He is a little bit used to me though. I'm accident prone. Usually he comes home and he says, so how did you injure yourself today? Because I'm always finding new, inventive, creative ways to injure myself. Keep him on his toes. He's an emergency manager, so he likes that. He likes it. He likes for me to keep him on his toes. Probably not, but okay, super cute. Do we want to add something here? I feel like I need to add something here. What about one of these guys? This larger label? Or should I just go with a really tiny label, a smaller label in here? Well, here's this one. It's a little bit smaller. It doesn't really look right though. I don't know what it is with me and these labels. Want to add a label to everything. Let me see. I know that this says specimen number and it has this, but I kind of want to add it like right there on the corner. Let's cut this out real quick and let's just see. Let's just see how it looks like if I put it right there. I mean, is it kind of small? It blends in a little bit. Nope, I like it up there. You know, I kind of like it. I'm going to add it. I'm going to do it. Why not? Why not? All right. So this project for me has been a great way to use up 12 by 12 paper. And it makes the cutest, fast little journals. Just super fast to put together. And you saw all the different variations I had in my other journals, you know. it was, you know, super easy. It's just a great way to use up all of your scraps and your bits. Paper clip that one on instead of Bulldog because it doesn't have anything, you know, on the inside. So this is how it looks. We've got our label. Got our sweet little birdie. Got our little tuck spot there. The signature. I've been leaving these long because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with those yet. So I've been leaving them kind of long. I don't know if I'm going to put beads at the end of them or whatever. The belly band. I like those. And then it flips. And then this guy comes off. We like it. We like it. And then underneath here, we've got this cute little pocket. And when I was doing these signatures, the reason why you saw me like looking at it, because I was looking at it to determine, I knew I was going to chop off quite a bit on the edges and quite a bit in the height. And so I just wanted to see like, where did I want the majority of, you know, the images. So that's why I was kind of, so if I was going to cut from the bottom, I was pushing everything to the top. So, and on the other one, I think I cut, this one I cut from the bottom. So I pushed everything to the top. And then this one I cut from the top, so I pushed everything down to the bottom. So that was kind of just my reasoning there. All right, and then that little tuck spot there, and then there we go. Let's pick a ribbon for it. I don't know, I kind of think it needs this dark green. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I like it. So I've just kind of been measuring out enough. I can do a nice bow. I'm loving this chiffon ribbon. I'm loving these little birdies. It just really, you know, sparked some creativity. It was perfect Mother's Day gift. Loved it, loved it. They did good. They did so good. So there we go. So I've got 1, 2, 3, and 4 very quickly. And this one is already spoken for. And then I've got 2 others that I'm working on. I've got this little guy here with all these blues and this little bit of purple. And then this one is a little bit more kind of a modern looking country kind of vibe. And then, oh, I did cut that one with you guys. Where did I put it? I cut this one down, so I'll be finishing up this one as well. So when it's said and done, I'll have an additional 3. So it looks like 7. So there we go. So that was it. That was just my little project I wanted to share with you guys. If you have any comments or questions, just put them down in the description or the comment box, and I will be sure to answer those as quickly as possible. And in the description box, I'll link the tutorial for the tab binding. So if you're interested, you can check that out there. And that's it. That is it. I absolutely enjoyed this little project. I hope you did as well. And until next time, bye.